So, this is the 14th Istanbul Apparel Conference that we are organizing today, but we're with very familiar faces. And Mehtap, Elaidi is together with us. We were together last year as well, and this year we also would ask for your moderation, so you actually will facilitate my work. I'm sure that you will do it perfectly well. I know it both on your behalf and on behalf of all the moderators, guests. I would like to say they've done a great job, and I think they are also taking a step towards my own job as well. And just like in the apparel industry and the fashion industry, you're also very successful in moderation tasks. So I will confidently leave the floor to you. You'll be discussing about the future of apparel industry, what is going to happen, what trends we will have for the future, and so on, both the supplier side, the production side, and at the same time the consumption side. And of course, at the same time, we'll discuss about the future. Natascha Radclyffe-Thomas from British School of Fashion, and then from COS, Sustainability and Brand Strategy, President Francesca Lilley would be together with us. So I'd like to leave the floor to you, Mehtap, Elaidi. Good work. Thank you.
Hello, Natascha, Francesca, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Hi, it is our great pleasure to have you here on board with us on this topic of future of fashion. And I would like to ask you two questions we'd like to cover on your side, the answers to this. And we'll be answering one by one if you like. I'll ask the first question and then I'll get on to the second one. And we have around 20 minutes total, so I think we can get on with that. Okay, Natascha, I would like to ask you first. It's been, especially with the pandemic period we're going through, it's been an important topic in future of fashion, the sustainability issue. But because it has become quite sudden, it has been used like more of a marketing tool in the industry. But actually, we have to start about talking about the real meaning of sustainability. And I would like to hear your opinion on this and how we should go through that transition period, because it's not going to happen from one day to the other. It's going to need a transition period for both the industry and the brands. And I would like to hear your point of view on this subject first. And then, Francesca, I would like to hear yours on how you study this topic of sustainability in your works and as your company policy.
Great, thank you. So thank you, Mehtap. It's a great honor. Thank you to the organizers of the Istanbul Apparel Conference for inviting me to be part of this. So, as we know, fashion's an industry. It's got a very glamorous image, but it's masked a lot of social and environmental impacts. And increasingly, we've become aware of this. And I think you're right to talk about, the pandemic bringing some of this to our attention with, the closing of supply chains and lots of the sort of environmental impact of industry being more noticeable. But I believe that your question relates to a kind of practice known as greenwashing, where brands and businesses try to promote a positive image, of their engagement with sustainability, but one that's not necessarily grounded in reality. Interestingly, for me as a professor of fashion, fashion is a cultural practice, and it obviously reflects the dominant conversations. So as you observe, there has been a lot of talk of sustainability and of building back better as we emerge from the pandemic, but without necessarily explicit instructions on how to implement this. A recent report in the UK found that European fashion companies, for many of them, up to 60% of their claims are actually misleading and unsubstantiated. So, for example, trousers that were claimed to be mono-material, designed to be remade or recycled, were actually a blend, which is currently, really difficult, if not impossible, to recycle. But there's also a level of sort of consumer ignorance about the different impacts of our material choices and our production techniques. And so, across Europe, the European Green Deal, the Circular Economy Action Plan, and our own UK industrial strategy have all kind of identified textiles as a priority to help shift to a more circular economy. And I think what you're asking here is like, whose responsibility is it to make these changes in the transition? Should brands take more responsibility to promote responsible consumption and implement better business models? Should manufacturers innovate better systems to reduce environmental impact and promote the life quality of their employees? Should we as customers push for more visibility of sustainability? Or should we police our own buying, wearing and disposal habits? And maybe we can look to sort of activists and non-profits to show us the way by, asking for transparency and putting pressure on governments and bodies to support sustainability initiatives. And I think all of these have a role to play. And another thing, which I hope is apparent in your conference, is that we need to celebrate those who are at the forefront of innovations in production and those who are trying to implement circular economy principles. And furthermore, we need to encourage collaborations between brands, producers, customers and non-profits, so we can promote a more kind of shared value approach to share ideas and innovations and learn from best practice in the industry. There's more legislation coming, so people are going to have to be more responsible for the products, that they put out into the world. And so those who are at the forefront are going to get the benefits of first mover advantage. We saw in the pandemic a big disruption to our individual lives and also to the industry. And mainstream media often focus on the negatives, but I think we're seeing the landscape changing quickly. And I think something that's key to that is education. And I think we need to really look at the formal education within universities and also on-the-job training so that everyone at every level of the industry is more aware and can make more informed, responsible, personal, professional choices. Sustainability really needs to start with education, I think, supported by, transcontinental, pan-industrial support, really, so to make it more of an incentive. Thank you.
Thank you. And Francesca, can we, we've all heard Natascha, and can we ask you, as one of the leading brands, always taking into consideration the issue of sustainability, can we hear more about specifics or examples of what you've been doing? Okay, we've listened to dear Natascha and about all those, we have all those initiatives started and being started. As one of the leading companies in the industry who takes sustainability into action, not just into words, we would like to hear more specifics about what your company is doing or dealing with the situation.
Thank you. I think we have a brief video to share before I share more.
Sorry?
I think we have a video. Have you seen the video?
Okay.
I can't.
We have the video. Okay, coming.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed a brief moment of inspiration there, but I think in answer to your question around how we as a brand are approaching this topic of the future of fashion and sustainability, I just wanted to draw your attention to that question. Can you see the future? We're really deliberately framing this as a question because it is a question to ourselves, our industry, and the wider fashion community, because we don't have all of the answers. The future is unknown. We don't have all the answers we need yet. but we need that commitment, and we need to make more responsible decisions. So we have to set ambitious goals. We have to explore technology and start that process before all of the data that we need to get us there is available. And we really see that this is demanding our entire industry, brands, suppliers and governments and many organizations to push us harder and to challenge us and to really, allow us to learn along the way. We need to be prepared to make mistakes. It's very volatile times with a lot of uncertainty, but we can really see that there are a few really key signs, obvious shifts that we need to make and that we really need to unlock. And we can see that our customers are demanding this. So I wanted to talk through a few of them. I mean, we're in a decade of change. There's a real paradigm shift happening at the moment, and we really need to act now. So first of all, I wanted to talk a bit about digitalization. So this is a really crucial shift. It's been underway for many decades now. It's transforming our lives and the industry, but we also want to start thinking about the impact this is having on communities and workforces in the future. It's a really critical area for our industry to explore. And as we can see that digital transformation is changing so many of our production processes, we've really got to start reevaluating the value that human resources offer and consider how we can start to upskill, reskill our workforces and really protect them through this transition. It's a really creative challenge. We've got to think about how we can really enable the creativity, the strategic thinking, innovation and collaborations that humans can drive so skillfully. Yeah. And this will really be a competitive edge that we need. We think that we also need to really employ empathy for the customer and the community and think about how our workforce can kind of balance in this new future. But it's also a vital tool that will help us to transition from linear to circular models. And that's the second shift that we can really see, circularity. Yeah. Transitioning from a linear to a circular economy and really decoupling growth from our consumption of resources will be really essential to that future. I can share a bit more about some of the things that we're doing at COS around circularity.
Yeah, no, I think that we're fine with we have to give them just a brief explanation of what a company like COS is doing, like an example as well. So thank you for sharing this with us. And I would like to get on to my second question. Natascha, I would like to ask you first again, and then Francesca. And, artisanship is a very important tool and getting more important day by day, because it is where you source local strength of your region, and then you can market this globally. This is also a part of the sustainability issue, but also gives us a bright hint about the future of fashion. So what do you think about this artisanship? Because the small or independent designer brands like me, for example, we've started to put artisanship at the top of our list when we are doing our collections. But I think it is a bit harder for larger companies to make those maneuvers. What do you think in the future of fashion? How do you think the artisanship will play a role?
Great, thank you. It's a great question, and thank you for sharing your own personal experience on that. So I would say that artisanship and the skills of making and really understanding materials, techniques, tools of the trade are actually the core of quality fashion production. And I think one of the reasons that the industry is in this dire situation it finds itself in regarding sustainability is that as a whole we've lost connection with that fundamental truth. Yeah. For me personally, some of my earliest engagement with fashion was an appreciation of its history, and as a maker myself, understanding qualities of fibres and fabrics and how to make things, working with local manufacturers but selling globally underpins how I would approach sustainable fashion now. I mean, we know that through its entire history, textiles and fashion flourish on inspiration from the world around us and a sort of creative exchange across cultures. But we're also aware that textiles and fashion have always been somewhat exploitative. Yeah. But in the modern world, as you say, human skills and cultural heritage that should be celebrated have actually become rather undervalued. Yeah. But if we think about sustainable development and the SDGs specifically, they actually, culture is actually central to achieving sustainable development. And obviously for those at the luxury end of the market, that, you know, that maybe goes without saying, and yourself with a smaller brand, but it's that kind of piece in the middle that we want to be able to help engage with. What I would say in answer to this is there is a lot of value in the production chain, you know, between making and consumer, and the fundamental issue is where that value resides and who can draw down on it. And so we really need to change business models that are going to favour this sort of cultural, you know, engagement with local artisanship that favours, you know, lifts up rather than crushes that, and promotes local production. And that will help us achieve SDG 8, which is around decent work. It will help us, you know, trade amongst companies on more favourable terms, and also help respect cultural diversity as one of our fundamental human rights.
Thank you. I think so too. I mean, it's going to give color to the whole industry, the global fashion world as well, and it will enrich the whole scene, in my opinion. And Francesca, as a very big company like COS, and how do you think about this artisanship is going to take place in the future of fashion? Do you share the ideas, or do you have any anything in progress about this issue in COS?
I mean, I can say, first of all, you know, we wouldn't be where we are today without the artisanship of the suppliers that we partner with. We are extremely privileged to work with very talented suppliers, and I think have built very long lasting, you know, many of our suppliers we've been working with since the inception of our brand over 12 years ago. But I also think that we are looking at how these skills can also be kind of evolving, and we can see that a lot of the requirements on our business to transform circular business models require a new set of skills and sort of reverse supply chain capabilities. So we're working a lot with our suppliers on you know, new techniques where we're looking at how can we embed value in that product in its first iteration when it's being developed, but also how we're preparing for taking that product back and repairing it. Are we upskilling the kind of partnerships that we have in our supply chain around repairing things or remaking them if they didn't perform as we expected, or we are you know, using our both pre and post consumer waste to repurpose those very valuable fibers that we've developed. So I mean, of course we see that value. We're also, you know, exploring and looking at customization and on demand within our group. So there's a lot of ways that we are looking, and it's always very much partnership and collaboration.
Great. Thank you so much. This is the end of our short meeting. Hope to see you in the future in a longer period of time, and maybe in Istanbul again. Thank you again so much for your participation.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Çok teşekkür.
Well, thank you very much. Natascha and Francesca were with us, providing their perspective of future fashion in their stances. And we've discussed the position of artisanship and sustainability as a contribution to our industry. Thank you.